How does the coronavirus spread? In the very beginning, the virus would have first been spread from an animal to a human being. The exact means in this particular circumstance is unknown. It could have been from the consumption of infected meat or from having contact with infected meat such as handling or butchering. From that point, it could be spread a number of ways, not all of which have been consciously proven. From that point, it could be spread a number of ways, not all of which have been conclusively proven. What we do know is that COVID-19 is newly identified beta coronavirus similar to SARS. It is spread in much the same way as SARS and is in fact easier to spread than SARS, but it is not as deadly. From what we know, COVID-19 can be contracted through the air, via cough or sneeze droplets. It can be spread through person-to-person, direct or close contact. It is more than likely that it can also be contracted from touching infected surfaces that have previously been touched by an infected person. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, they spray tiny respiratory droplets that hang in the air for a short time. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of a person who's nearby, or they may be inhaled into the lungs. This is why people wear the face masks. Places that remain wet are particularly suited to spread disease. In an abundance of caution, China has literally been laundering its money, disinfecting it under UV light, or destroying it and replacing it with clean bills. This does not mean that we know that COVID-19 can persist on money or clothes, but we also don't know for sure that it can't. Although the CDC states that person-to-person spread is the most common, it may be possible to catch COVID-19 from transferring it from surfaces to your hands and then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. This is why it is so important to regularly washing or sanitizing your hand before touching your face or eating. We don't know how long COVID-19 can remain infectious on surfaces, but a recent study that has concluded that under optimal conditions, SARS and MERS can persist on surfaces for up to 9 days. There is no reason to believe that COVID-19 would behave differently from these closely related strains. But it is also highly unlikely that the virus would survive on a dry postage envelope from China or any other country. Optimal conditions are considered warm and wet, facilitating the virus to thrive and spread. Surfaces that have been dried are likely to be free of viruses. Products shipped from infected countries generally arrive after a long transoceanic journey and are almost certainly free of active viruses. However, it would not be impossible for a virus to survive an overnight flight from an infected country. This mode of transmission, while theoretically possible, is so unlikely that it is not worth worrying about. Disinfectants such as ethanol, hydrogen peroxide, or bleach can be used to kill the virus on surfaces. Frequent hand washing and cleaning infected surfaces will slow the spread of COVID-19. Because the virus is usually spread from coughing or sneezing, it makes sense that when a person is sickest, they're coughing and sneezing more. So the virus probably spreads most efficiently when people are the most sick. However, there are reports of the COVID-19 being transferred from one person to another before any symptoms have appeared. Some viruses spread more easily than others. For For example, measles is highly contagious and spreads very rapidly and efficiently through the air. Other viruses, such as HIV, are much more difficult to transmit. COVID-19 is between these extremes. Despite China's drastic efforts in containment, COVID-19 has spread easily in Hubei and escaped to other places around the globe. It is likely that it will reach a pandemic stage and come to your community. But there is no need to panic, and we are here to help you. There are things you can do to protect yourself that we will be covering in this course.